Hello everybody, thank you for tuning in to another Starcraft 2 broadcast. My name is Anaris, and today we're here watching a 1 versus 1 on GSL Terminus. This is going to be between Engine spawning as the Protoss over in the 9 o'clock position against his Red Terran opponent, who has a pretty cool little icon there. I think it's Rainer's Raiders or something like that. I do not know how to pronounce his name. I'm sure somebody can be an awesome person and post it down in the comment section below for all of us to enjoy. But in the meantime, I'll probably just call him the Red Terran because I'm pretty cool like that. Now, this map, you've all pretty much seen this before on my channel. This is, like I said, Terminus. You got the one little spot back here, pretty good for dropping. Pretty big open base area, not too big though, certainly bigger ones in the Blizzard ladder rotation. And the thing I like about this map in particular is that you do have two expansions immediately outside of your base. Number one, you have the natural right here. Number two, you do have this expansion as well, but it does have a reduced mineral count. There is a rich Vespine geyser, which for those of you who are asking in the last video, it actually... The only difference is, usually when you go into a Vespine geyser, you get 4, but in this one you get 6 gas per collection. So that's really the only difference here. And defending the natural and kind of the second base here, it's pretty simple. I notice how I didn't say easy, because it's certainly not that, but it's very simple. You just have this one choke right here, and you can guard that. There's like a little high ledge right here. And for those of you who also saw that first game on Terminus, there is a risk of things like Nidus worms popping over here, which not going to give a spoiler alert as to how that game actually ended up, but that was a pretty interesting map. You do have to have control of this entire platform area if you want to mount a successful defense. Otherwise, you're going to have to defend this ramp and here too, and then it just gets to be crazy shenanigans. So meanwhile, in the middle of the map, there are other 4 expansions, 4 xel'naga watchtowers, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Pretty standard placement for most of those mineral patches. The third bases are the only ones that have reduced mineral count. So here we're seeing Engine going with 2 assimilators right off the bat. Cybernetics core not even completed, and he's already got them dropped, ready to go. The Terran player is scouting that out, so he's going to be thinking, wow, that's a lot of freaking gas. Probably going to have some kind of tech play coming up very soon here, as the Cybernetics core is just now about complete in a minute or two. And meanwhile, the Terran player, you can see he's working on 1 refinery right now, going with a more traditional build, throwing down a tech lab on his barracks. I think he's sitting on 2 Marines right now. Yeah, 2 of them. And one more thing I do want to point out, there's a supply depot here, and some of you were asking about that. That's just to prevent, like you've seen against like a Zerg, they may decide to throw down an early expansion, and then they'll have to send another drone patrolling back and forth to make sure it's not walled off. Well, this map has a supply depot, so that way you don't really have to send that drone. The little choke point here can't be walled off completely by like Terran or Protoss or anything like that. So, long story short, it just prevents isolation between the natural and the main base. So here we go now with the concussive shells upgrade. Concussive shells, obviously a very good choice for the Marauders early game against the Protoss gateway forces, which we see right now there is only 1 gateway working currently, still sitting on a decent amount of gas. A lot of that has been dumped down into this one Stargate, though. One thing you'll notice about this map, there is a lot of open space, no pun intended. You can see it's great for aerial base play, anything of that sort. Also, drops can be very powerful on this map. Now, with each base, they do kind of touch the end here, so you're not going to be able to fly completely around the base without being under attack here. I think you can get pretty close, but not quite. You should be able to reach every units at the edge of the map by putting ranged forces right there. And we do have 1 Phoenix heading out as we speak. This problem is probably just for scouting. Obviously, you can't do a whole lot of damage with 1 Phoenix alone. They can use that Graviton Beam, lift up maybe a mule or something like that, but you're really going to want to have a couple additional forces there to take it out. As once that Graviton Beam is used, just for those of you who are newer players, the unit who is using that Graviton Beam cannot actually fire while using it. So probably expect to see more area units coming over here. We do have 2 Phoenix now. Could be a little bit better, as he's also currently boosting out 1 Void Ray. Now there is a bunch of infantry coming in, as well as 1 SCV. May decide to use that to tank, may decide to use it for scouting, bunker. We'll have to see. He is aware there is no expansion, so he's probably thinking, okay, this attack, I'm going to have to charge up the ramp here. Do I have stim? No, do not yet. It is just about complete. It is throwing down his expansion, though, so this attack is coming at a good time for the Terran player. You see, there is enough energy for one force field going down right now, and there is an SCV just hanging out barely. It's allowing the Terran player to have vision of the top and start doing plenty of damage to those Stalkers. But there's the Graviton Beam in place right there. Not so much doing damage as it is simply taking those units out of the equation entirely. Just pretty much allowing the Protoss player to have that much less firepower coming at him while he engages with the rest of his forces. There's that Void Ray coming out, folks, doing plenty of damage there, driving away the rest of those Marauders. They are going to have to retreat and allow the Protoss player to expand. Terran expansion is about 75% complete. So overall, that attack did pretty well. These two Phoenix, though, if they decide to come over here and check out this expansion, they can lift up the SCV, building the command center, and take it out. Or the Mule, we'll see. He is indeed going to go for the Mule right as soon as the turret has finished building. So they are going to drive that Phoenix away. Void Ray, rather, going to be coming over here and attack the command center. Going to be a little bit late to stop it, though. You see it's actually lifting up right now. Void Ray is charging up, trying to take it out. SCV is repairing the damage, though. Really not too bad. The Void Ray is now completely charged, so he will be taking out the SCV very quickly. There's 3 Phoenix right there. Going to be knocking out that command center. Oh, will they get it? Yeah, there's no way they're going to beat that. He does have 3 Marines, but he's actually pulling that Void Ray back. He had the couple Marines, or the couple Marauders, meanwhile, down there, force the cancellation of that expansion and be going down right quick there. Good move, and you can see the Protoss player sitting on a good bit of money right now. I mean, really, that came from the expansion. Not a lot he could do with it. He is dropping down 2 additional gateways, however. Going to be trying to get some more land units. 3, I do apologize. He's really going to need that. This aerial base play isn't going to work this late into the game for him, considering what he has. We're running with a Stargate and trying to harass off of one base like this when the Terran player has completed a command center and is ready to land it down and can also saturate his mineral line with it. It's not going to work out super well. So here come the Phoenix right there, going to scout out the Marines. Again, this infantry force, very anti-air heavy, so that's going to work out well in the Terran player's favor. And Engine here is going to have to step back and kind of assess the situation. He is making a robotics facility. Think that, some Colossi here will do a world of good against what's still, primarily just an infantry force. Doesn't have anything else like that other than the barracks. And here goes the command center, going to be landing right now. Oh, lifting out the Marines one by one, taking those bad boys out. There's still 1 Marine here hanging out. Rest of the infantry are going to have to hang out here at the natural expansion, though. Probably, again, he's probably just thinking, you know what, this is going to be my economy here coming up in just a minute, so I really got to make sure that nothing comes over here and screws it up for me. Still got the 4 gateways hanging out, and there's an observer coming down the line here. Expansion, once again, going down, just about complete. You see Protoss is actually sending out his Phoenix once again. Will he be able to do any damage? He's running dangerously close to those Marines and Marauders. Lifting up 1 Marine there, probably could come down here and get some mule action, forcing the infantry up here and then going back down. But it looks like he's actually going to, I think he lost 1 there. I thought he lost 1. No, Terran kind of lucked out on that. If he had brought those Phoenix up here and then circled back around, he definitely could have taken out both of those mules. And I don't think that would have been dropped yet, but still would have been able to hurt his economy a lot. Speaking of economy, you see the Terran player about 1,600, 1,500 to about 1,100, something like that. But notice there's a lot more harvesters here for Engine than there is for the Terran player. Again, that's just the mules coming into play right there. You see mules are just incredibly awesome like that. Terran going to be making his way down to the expansion where there is actually not a lot going on. You see he does have some forces. We're going to be looking to have some force fields played down here. That's really the only way he's going to win this. Sure enough, force fields are going down. Phoenix should be lifting off some units here if he wants to try to engage that. He's going to have to watch out there. There we go. There's the nice force fields, as they are now dying, but this has bought Engine enough time to get some units down here. He desperately needed to bolster his ground forces, because like I said before, there's only so much that you could do with Phoenix and 1 or 2 Void Rays and 1 or 2 Stalkers. You really do need to have that ground army to back up your Phoenix harassment. It's Phoenix harassment can be great in 4v4s. It can also work to an extent in 1v1s, but when you're playing at a level like this, it's not really something you would purely rely on. That being said, I do have a couple games from, I think it was the European Champions Trophy Tournament that took place over the past weekend that did have some very heavy Phoenix play. Don't remember exactly who it was. I think xel'naga was in the game and somebody else. But it was a pretty bloody interesting game to watch. Gonna have to cast that one for sure. do have actually a lot of games from that that tournament. And speaking of that, I'm hoping that next month we're going to be able to swap over to some of the GSL maps. So if you guys want to watch lots and lots and lots of GSL live stream, lots of top players, be sure you tune in for that. Definitely going to be pushing. If nothing else, we're probably going to have some of those new Blizzard maps as well. I think there's Shattered Temple, Typhon Peaks, Shattered Temple. Yeah, I mean, it had some much needed balance issues and whatnot that needed to be resolved, and it's more than in the most part it's fixed. So I haven't actually had a chance to play on it too much. I've played a few games in the Korean server in that map, but that's about it. Oh, a CV, you are taken out of here, launched into space, where you will be destructed. Yes, my impeccable grammar, I know, and spelling, e-spelling, it's serious business. So at this point in the game, there's not actually a ton going on. The Protoss player is expanding again, dropping that down there. About complete, actually. The Extended Thermal Lance upgrade is on the way. Terran's going to be heading out again. Looking at the army size, you can see it's 105 to 97, and out of that, 47, 57 are harvesters. That's 1700 compared to 1300. Terran a little bit later on his third base, dropping that down here. Probably expect to see some probes being transferred. Oh, good timing on that observer. Going to be seeing that attack coming in here. Now, the Protoss should be able to handle this with relative ease. Yeah, sure enough, there we go. We got the Colossus right now. That's going to be the big heavy hitter. Terran realizes that, man, you know, he's like, screw that. I do not have a way to effectively deal with that Colossus. So he is going to back out here and hang out in the middle-ish of the map, just pretty much close to these two xel'naga watchtowers. You see he's actually holding on to one of them right now. And maybe the second one? No, but you can see that it does nonetheless give a lot of vision. It allows you to see this expansion down here, the middle of the map. Plenty of stuff that you can see. There goes those Phoenix. Going to be heading back here. Weren't really able to accomplish a whole lot. Looking at the units lost after this game, you can see 48 to 23. But Engine has definitely lost the greater of the resources. Speaking of which, we can also see that 125 to 149. And both players are actually sitting below 500. That's good. Of course, Red is definitely riding the bottom of the barrel. It's a little bit easier to do as Terran when you're going infantry build, simply because everything's so much cheaper, and you can just buy things in smaller increments, whereas Protoss, it's like 300 for a Colossus, 200 gas, or 300 minerals, 200 gas. Not something that, you know, you can just build all willy-nilly, and yes, I was just totally looking for an excuse to say willy-nilly. I don't know why, but I am. Terran, you know, again, he's got that nice spread out wall. It's going to help minimize the impact of any Colossi attempts at pushing out. And more Phoenix harassment coming in there, but again, not a lot going to happen. That one key missile turret there, plenty enough to deter any Phoenix harassment. As we do have some Vikings looking for some blood, man. They are hoping to get some free kills. Terran definitely a lot more capable of dealing with the Colossi now. You see there are 3 Colossi. I got a few Phoenix here, about 5 or 6. Yeah, 6 of them. And no upgrades just yet for the Protoss player. Terran player has 0-1. So, alright, that's pretty good. We'll go with it. I do have all the infantry upgrades, though. The shields, the stim pack, the concussive shells from the beginning of the game. That worked out pretty well for him here. So we might actually have an engagement. Oh, well, that's going to be the quickest engagement in the history of StarCraft 2. 1 Marine dead, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be game. No. Seriously, though, Terran is going to retreat to probably a more defensive position. Wants to be ready to guard against any attacks. And this choke point right here, which is going to work very much in his favor. He's going to have to be careful with it, though. He doesn't have any siege tanks. He doesn't have EMP. Blink Tech is on the way, although I don't know if Protoss is going to wait for that. No, looks like he's not going to. You have a Colossus just about complete here. Here comes the Phoenix, and absorbing some of that damage right off the bat. Look at that, taking a ton of hits as they are going down very quickly. Meanwhile, a lot of those forces can't even get in here and fire, while the Vikings are just finishing off the Phoenix there, and now they are ready to go in and start working on the Colossi. Definitely not working out for the Protoss at all. That attack just went very much in the favor of Terran, and with those Phoenix, or the Vikings, rather, doing tons of damage, annihilating the Phoenix, and then just moving right on along. The Stalker's not even an issue now that the Terran player especially has a more Marauder-focused army, given a lot of those Marines were taken out by the Colossi, but still plenty of the Marauders left over, ready to engage. All they have is a little bit of health left. from the stim pack they used initially, and now they are in a great position to push down here. Army size comparison now 106 to 143 and 56 to 71. So a lot of what the Protoss player has right now is probes, ladies and gentlemen. Not a good position to be in. Here comes the Vikings working on that one Colossae right now as the Marauders are pushing through, annihilating the Stalkers. Look at that, man. Stim pack going down as we speak, and it's just not going to be a contest right there, folks. Stalker just running around confused. And there's the GG from Engine. Good game to hear today on Terminus as we see. That's pretty sweet. Looks like he's punching the Nexus. Marauder punch. So pretty good stuff there. And yeah, that's pretty much all I've got. I'm going to try to find some more games from the Korean server here. Maybe another of myself playing. I don't know. I'm gonna try to pick out some of the more interesting ones from the Korean server. I don't want to be like, haha, here's me playing person number 1248736. Yay! And stuff like that. But I will try to find a couple of the more interesting games, whether or not I win or lose. I'm definitely all about the fun factor and the enjoyment. And, well, that sounded kind of weird. But anyways, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and cancel this video, and I will see you guys in some time. I like